haven't had uploaded and do some live. I just made. I just thought about having live today because I just finished my 10-day water fast, 10-day without food while working because this is one of the most challenging that I did in my life. You know, I did this twice already. I did it last year, and this is the second time. And this is my last day actually. So I'm grateful I made it. You know, so hard to work while doing fasting actually. But I just want to grab this opportunity to share why I do fasting. So two reasons. One is for spiritual purpose, and the other one is for physical health. Spiritual purpose is one of the ways that you know condition yourself to be aligned to God and to release resentment, whatever feeling, so that you can just feeling connected, forgive people who hurt you, and forgive people who you have hurt. Guilt, resentment, anger, like that. So, of course, for me, it's still difficult because supposed to be when you do that, you have to be in a nice environment and doing meditation and prayer somewhere, probably in the mountain like that. But because I'm working, I do the 10 days fasting while working, you know. But still, there's some effect, So spiritual purposes and also for physical health, you know. Physical health. This is there are only two baggages in ourselves, two things that we can get rid of by doing fasting. First is the old spiritual baggage, those invisible and invisible. Invisible are those, feelings of no good feelings, negative feelings, resentment, inability to forgive, self pity, guilt, like that. So those are things that you need to get rid of, you know, because it will affect also your health. Second is the visible one. There are many things in our body that we don't really need, no? But we cannot get rid of them unless we do fasting. You know, one way or one thing is the misfolded proteins, the old cells, the damaged cells. They call it the zombie cells. They stay in our body and they create problems after some time. So if we cannot get rid of them, they will create some problem in our body. Also, if you touch your belly, you can see, either your belly is apple shape or pear shape. This is a big problem. So you have to deal with that. No? So it's very important to deal with that. And one best way is fasting because those are reserved energy. We are living in a time where we eat too much and we don't burn them. So if you eat too much and we don't burn them, what happened? You store them. Way back in the early days, the hunter gatherers, it's good to have belly fat because many times uh, we don't have food. So if there's the times that there's no food, you have a reserve energy, you know, to use it. But oh, thank you very much. Yeah, that's what they told me. I look like Obama. But if we have belly fat during this time, we're living in a time of abundance. Even poor people, even homeless people, they can eat 3 times, 4 times a day. So there's no problem with food. So what happened? We keep those belly fat, especially visceral fat. Visceral fat are dangerous to the body. If we cannot get rid of them, stay there for some time, what happened? It will create havoc in your life. It will help you have many problems that will turn into cholesterol, plaque. You know, it makes the liver, fatty liver, the pancreas, and many parts of your abdomen. Okay, so they are dangerous. It will lead to high blood pressure, diabetes, and many other chronic diseases. It's okay if it's just stay there, but if stay there for a long time, it will bring some problem. Oh, I live here in the Bay Area, California. Mhm. So we need to get rid of this. And the best way to get rid of them is fasting. That's the reason why I do fast. Okay? So prolonged fasting is like a general cleaning, like overhauling. You know, if if your house is dirty after some time, it will create some bad smell and other stuff rotting somewhere. So you need to clean them. General fasting. Same with the body. You know, if we don't do fasting, there's no way we can get rid of those belly fat, especially visceral fat, and they are dangerous to our health. So I do this at least once a year, 7 to 10 days. So this is my second time doing 10 days fasting, and it's really tough. I'm sharing because it's tough for me because I do it while working, you know, and it's really tough. But finally, I was able to make it. Mm. So yeah, I lost a lot of my belly. So and also every 3 months, at least 3 4 months, I do 3 days fasting, and every day I'll do intermittent fasting. And I try to find ways to live the way our ancestors live. You know, our ancestors, uh, they only eat when there's some food. When they wake up in the morning, they walk and look for food. And when they find food, maybe around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock already in the afternoon. So mostly they automatically skip breakfast, and that's the only time they eat. And probably if there's some more extra, they eat, and then when it gets dark, they go to sleep. You know, so most of the time they only eat twice a day, once a day, or even you know don't eat. Maybe the following day, that's the time they can eat. If there's no food, then they don't they don't eat, and they will eat for the following day. So that's the lifestyle of our ancestors. But they're healthy, not enough food, but they're healthy. You they the archaeologists study this old, our ancestors, our hunter gatherers. Most common causes of death are injuries, accidents, infections, but they couldn't find people who died of heart disease, diabetes, cancer. No, they die mostly of a natural death. So because they practice a natural fasting. But during our time, we eat a lot of junk food, we eat a lot of processed food, and we eat a lot of carbs and sugar. And the body cannot take it anymore. It's too much. So we become insulin resistance, and we become obese. Many of us, if you touch your belly, those are reserve energy, you know. But you don't get rid of them because every day you eat 3 times a day. The only way we can get rid of them is skip some meals, or at least 36 hours to get rid of those, to touch this one. Because the body cannot, even though you exercise, even though you diet, the body cannot touch them. While the body has something to use for energy while you're still eating, the body cannot touch them because they are reserved, they are locked. The only time that you can use them is when the body cannot feel anymore some food that you take. Let's say skip breakfast, right? And then after 8 hours, you run out of energy, and then there's still reserved energy, glycogen, from your liver. and then you can still use that, but after 16, 18 hours, you, those are get depleted. You use them, and after that, then that's the time the body, and if you still did not eat, that's the time the body will use those visceral fat. you know and the body is very wise. They use first those dangerous fats, especially visceral fat. Visceral fat is bad to our health, so the body will use it. That's the only way you can burn those visceral fat. That's why fasting is very, very important, my friend. So prolonged fasting is like a general cleaning of your body. You clean those old proteins, uh, damaged cells, those mitochondria that is not functioning, and especially fats, especially visceral fat. You know, One best way to lose weight. You know, and if you do that, what happened? Your body will uh, regain energy. So cleaning, the purpose of fasting is general cleaning and also repair. If you do 3 days at least to 4 days, that's the time that your bone marrow will release those stem cells. Stem cells are cells that go to our body to repair whatever are damaged in the body. So my foot is clicking actually before. I don't know what happened. But after doing fasting, no more. And also I have lower back pain, always lower back pain. And then, yeah, I couldn't feel anymore. I hope it will not come back again. Mhm. So the body is repairing itself when you do fast. Mhm. Of course, the best way for the body to heal is, of course, not eating, but also enough sleep, because that's the time that the body can repair when you're sleeping. And also, enough rest. Okay, not much stress in our life. Okay, because when you get stressed, cortisol goes up. You will be in a sympathetic mode. The body cannot repair also during that time. That's why when you do fast, that's why I connect fasting to spiritual also, because if I'm not into the right mind, if I'm not grateful, if I'm not happy, if I'm always stressed, if I always lack of sleep, even though I'm fasting, it will also affect my health. So it's very important that when we do fasting, we do all those ones. Okay. So I'm just sharing this because I feel it's a breakthrough on me. You know. However, I'm not suggesting this to everyone because every person has different condition. Because to do a prolonged fasting, you need to adapt. Okay. Before I do 7 days and 10 days fasting, I start with intermittent fasting. And after intermittent fasting, I start 1 day fasting. And at first it's difficult, but when the body adjusts, because the body adapts, you know, I did 2 days fasting. I did 3 days fasting. You know, you increase the capability of your body. You cannot just go straight 4 days or 7 day fasting. Otherwise, you're gonna suffer. You know? So, but your goal is to prolong fasting. If you really, especially if you have health issues, fasting is one of the best way to heal your body. I guarantee that. There's a lot of uh, studies also about the benefits of fasting, and even our medical institution, they know how effective fasting is, but the big pharma don't like to promote it. Why? Because it's bad to the business. When you do fasting, there's no money in there. It's free, you know. So the big pharma wants you to survive, but they don't want you to be healthy. You know, once you have heart disease, uh, chronic diabetes or kidney disease like that, you are a big, uh, a regular customer, you know. So they're making money out of you. That's why they want you to survive, but they don't want you to get to be healed. No. So if you go to the doctor, they said, "Oh, how do you feel? Oh, I see. Here's the pill," you know, and they give you maintenance. You know how much money they make from metformin, Jardans, amlodipine, losartan, and many of those, you know, statin and many other kinds of uh, medicine, plus your regular appointment to the doctor. You know, if you become healthy, that's a big loss. Okay, that's a big loss. So we have to understand that the best way to be healed, to be healthy, is of course not only fasting, but you know the right food, the right environment, you know, the sun, nature. You know, so when you eat foods from nature, these are the real medicine. These are the real source of food. You know, anything that is packed is bad for your health actually, because once they pack the food, for this food to survive, they put a lot of preservative and other stuff. If you see the ingredients that you cannot even read it, you know, if it has five or more ingredients, it's bad. Uh, my lips is drying. Yeah. So I'm doing this, but I'm recommending it. You know, we are living in a country. I'm living in a country, United States, where the healthcare, we are the most advanced when it comes to healthcare, and we spend the most also, but we are not the healthiest. The big pharma is no longer $1 billion company; it's already $1 trillion company. They make a lot of money, you know. That's why they don't like the big pharma to for you to get well, yeah, or for you to uh, get healthy. You know, they just want you to survive. And I'm doing this. Also, I'm experimenting it. You know, you know, there's some the Tanglewood in Costa Rica where people go there to fast. People who have tumor, cancer, heart disease, and all this. They went there to fast for 30 days, 40 days, and their tumors shrink. You know, they get healed by simply fasting. Yeah. So prolonged fasting is very important. And you know, when it comes to repair, you know, uh, autophagy. There's what we call autophagy, where you can already experience autophagy at after 18 hours or more of fasting. But to get rid of those visceral fat here, you need a little more. Okay, at least 3 days, because you need to keep burning. You know, because once you eat, you stop maybe. So every time you fast, prolong fast, you know the body cannot find ways to burn. They have to find ways, look at those visceral fat and other kind of unnecessary unnecessary fats and old proteins, damaged cells. They recycle it and use it for energy. And also we have many uh, mitochondria, you know, the powerhouse of the cell, the body, you know, where you can get energy. And many are not functioning, malfunction. Through fasting, you can repair them. You know? And also, if you have some aches and pains and some kind of uh, things that is difficult in your body, what happened? the bone marrow will release stem cell. It's just like a spare parts to repair them. If you repair a car, you just repair, you remove the things. But you need the spare parts to replace them. That's the purpose of visceral fat. Okay, so that's why you can only release stem cell. That's the purpose of stem cell. I mean, you can only release stem cell from your body if you do at least 3 or more days of fasting. You know, so if you really want to get well, if you have some illnesses or health issues, especially chronic diseases like diabetes, chronic kidney disease, not the stage 4 though. There are some specific uh, things to consider when you have already stage 4 or even cancer. Even cancer. Dr. Thomas Seyfried said, if only people will fast at least 7 days a year, we can get rid of cancer. We can get rid of 90% of cancer, any kind of cancer. Okay? Because we do a lot of things in our body that we accumulate a lot of garbage in our body. And those garbages, if we cannot get rid of them, they bring big problem, especially cancer. Those visceral fat around your abdomen, they can be transformed into many bad things like cholesterol, I mean, triglyceride, or plaque, or it affects the liver. Makes your liver fatty liver. The liver has a lot of function. Once it's fatty, it's hard to function. And when you cannot don't do anything to get rid of this fatty liver, then it becomes a cirrhosis. Once it becomes cirrhosis, it's so difficult to reverse already. You know. So those are the problems that causes this one. So don't don't wait to experience all this difficulty in life. So you want to enjoy life. We need. I like to enjoy life. I like to enjoy myself. You know. So I need to have a regular cleaning and repairing. We are just like old cars. I'm already 57. I'm just like old cars. I need to have a regular maintenance. Regular maintenance is general cleaning. Aside from daily intermittent fasting or 3 days fasting every 3 to 4 months, I have to have general fasting also, like intense fasting, at least 4 days to 10 days a year. So I usually do this every January or February. I do this February because January I've been busy, So I find time wherein nothing, it's more comfortable, I can more focus, no parties, no birthdays like that, So that's why I do uh, on a specific date that is appropriate for my schedule. And also, I do it during the time where the weather is cold, because when you fast for prolonged fast on during summer, it's really tough. I experienced that. It's really tough. So cold weather is really of great help to fast. Yeah. Latino Obama. Yeah. I'm Filipino actually. Mm. Yeah, many of my customer also told me, "Oh, you like Obama." Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm just sharing it, and I hope it will be of great help to you guys, because I'm really into promoting fasting. This is the only way that you can get healed naturally. This is free. You can imagine, this is free. The effect of fasting in your body, it's really worth millions of dollars if you spend that in the uh, if the effect, if some doctors recommend on many things that you for you to get healed, it it takes a lot of money, millions, to uh, come up with the effect, with the same effect as fasting. Yeah. So if you want to enjoy life, do once in a while fasting or intermittent fasting. All right. Any question, my friends? Just sharing first time again for a couple of months that I never, do live. I don't know why I do live today. It's because I feel it's worth sharing to share my experience. All right, my friend. Thank you for watching. Unless you have question. God bless everyone. That's it for the day. How can I stop this? Now I don't know how to stop now. Villa di Trinidad. Good afternoon, my friend. Late night skies. Good afternoon. Umiskom Kubura. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Seems like I forgot now how to finish my life. Hmm. Jennifer Forres Parza. Thank you for coming, my friend. Umiskolora. Thank you for coming. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you have question. Because before I do fasting, I learn a lot about it. And I experiment it myself. I said, does it really work? Is this really true? So I tried. I tried different way of fasting. Many times I failed also. You know, many times I got uh, actually there's a lot of things to share also. You get cramps, because you lose a lot of electrolytes. Once you do fasting, don't drink a lot of water. For me, I'm drinking water, but just every time, just a sip. I just do like this. Unlike before, when I did fasting before, I drink a lot of water. And you drink a lot of water, you pee a lot, you also lose electrolytes. And then the more you get weak. And that makes the fasting so difficult. Just like that. That's enough. All right, everyone. Thank you for staying. Thank you for watching. And have a blessed day, everyone. I'll see you again next time.